So in the UK at the moment, and I apologise for anybody who is not watching in the UK, but it looks like spring has sprung. It looks like spring is with us. The snowdrops have started to come through and are now everywhere. The daffodils, their shiny leaves are being seen everywhere now. So spring has sprung. And I thought, as part of our Sunday success strategies, I would talk about some strategies to help us step into spring. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today, stepping into spring. Well, why is this important to me, or why do I find this interesting? Well, I love spring. I love spring as the season that we start to think about what we're doing towards the summer, and the sun comes out and we all get a little bit brighter inside, don't we? And we sort of start to smile, I think, a bit more, and the nights start to get longer, and the mornings, the sun comes up a lot earlier. And I think spring is all about optimism. It's all about being ready for the summer, ready to enjoy the sun, ready to enjoy the season. And I remember as a kid, I remember as a child, the daffodils were a big thing for me at springtime, because my grandmother absolutely loved daffodils. And I remember we had a caravan, and I remember this big oak tree that was near there, and all around this oak tree was daffodils. And in the spring, they used to pop out of the ground, and that was like the start of the sort of summer season. And we went to the caravan. And of course, as you go to the caravan, if anyone's got a caravan, the first thing you do is you take some time to sort it all out, don't you? You do a bit of a spring clean. You do a bit of you're getting it ready for the summer. You make sure that everything's done okay. You make sure the caravan's up to scratch, and you make sure, it's clean inside and the gas is on and all that type of stuff. So I really love spring, and it brings real happy memories for me. So what type of happy memories does spring bring for you? Why don't you pop them in the chat as well and share them with the group? Now, as you know, I like to talk about 5 strategies. So I thought, what 5 strategies could I use? And I then thought, right, well, how can I remember them? So let's use the word step into spring. S-T-E-P, exclamation mark, step into spring. And that's what we're going to talk about, stepping into spring. So number 1, the S of step, is sort. Why don't you take some time at the start of spring to sort some stuff out? Do a desk tidy, a declutter, do a mind dump, make some room for yourself, both for your mind, and your physical space. Now, I've done another video on all that, and you can go back and have a look at the videos and see about decluttering, etc. But why don't you take some time, invest some time at the start of spring to do a good old sort? I know a couple of people I've been working with recently have been doing some decluttering, and they've loved it, and they've basically gone from a tiny space that they've decluttered to a bigger space. And they've learned one of the key things is that you've just got to decide, put it in a place in a bucket, or a bucket that I call or a box or whatever, and decide what you're going to do, and make sure you keep with that mantra, keep with that mission of decluttering. You can recycle, you can give away, you can sell if you wish, but sell often doesn't work because it takes time as well. But just have a really good sort that man drawer out, sort that shoe box that's in the bottom of the cupboard. Have a sort of a new idea to sorting and getting ready for the spring, and getting ready to sort that out. So that's number 1. Number 2 is T for step, in step, and it's take time to reconnect. Why don't you take some time over the next month to reconnect with people? Now, I know we've been in a bit of a challenging situation, haven't we, for the past 2 years with connection and reaching out to people and being with people. But I think now is the time to start to reach out to people and start to reconnect. So can you think of 5 people that you just simply want to reconnect to? Send them a text, say, how are you? Pick up the phone, say, how are you? If you can visit them in safe distances, etc., do that. Why not take them a bunch of daffodils just to help them start their spring off? A bunch of daffodils costs about £1 in the UK. I'm not quite sure what it costs in the other parts of the world. And maybe there's your equivalent of the daffodil flower where you live. That'd be interesting. If you don't live in the UK, what is your equivalent of the daffodil? It might still be the daffodil, but anyway, if it's not the daffodil, what is it? So number 2, take some time to reconnect. Number 3, for our stepping into spring, think about your energy over the next month or so. Think about when you're going to need lots of energy and when you're going to need to recharge those batteries. Because I think what we forget, we try and do it all at once, and we run out of energy. So think about, when are you going to use that amazing energy of yours, but also when are you going to reconnect and recharge that energy. If you think about the daffodil has been a bulb in the ground, hasn't it? Soaking up the energy, and as the sun's come out, the ground has got warmer. It's sucked in the nutrients from the soil. It's been watered with the rain, and we know about rain, don't we? And then all of a sudden what happens is all that energy is used to spring out of the ground and then used to produce that wonderful flower. But remember, that wonderful flower isn't just for decoration. That wonderful flower is to get more of the sun's rays in, to create more energy, so that daffodil can get stronger and stronger and stronger and be the generator. So it generates the energy and keeps that energy going. So that's number 3. Think about the energy that you're going to need in spring, and maybe have an energy diary. Some people I've been working with have been using an energy tracker where they've found out they've been tracking throughout their day and their week when they're full of energy and full of beans, and they've been doing all their important stuff then. And then when they're lower in energy, they've thought about activities that recharge them, taking time out, meditating, maybe reading a book, sitting in the sun, watching a movie. It could be anything, but what does that do to your energy? Number 4 is P in STEP, and that is preparation. So think about it quickly. What could you do now to make your life easier, simpler? What routines could you cultivate over the next month that'll help you step into spring? I've been doing now on a Sunday my weekly review for years, but what I've been adding to that weekly review is some other little things that help in the week. So for example, while I've been doing my weekly review, I back up my computers. And I have 2. I have one here and I have one here as well. And all I do is set them to back up, and they go off and do it. And then I do a clean of the computer. You do a virus scan and all that. And then I back it up again, and then it's done while I'm writing my journal. It's a simple little routine which could help me in the future. I've also been meal prepping. I wasn't big on meal prepping, but because I've had a goal recently of trying to reduce food waste right to a bare minimum, I've now been food prepping, and it doesn't have to be boring. You can make all different types of foods. So what preparation and routines could you do to grow and you could cultivate? What's one habit that if you established over the next 30 days, and it doesn't have to be 30 days, it could be 28 days, it could be a month, or a month is 30 days. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be 30 days. There's all these theories out there that it takes 66 days to complete a habit, or, whatever. It doesn't really matter if you look at books on habits, as long as you habit stack and as long as you celebrate, because what gets celebrated gets repeated, doesn't it? And that's what gets celebrated gets repeated. So if you keep repeating it, that becomes a habit. So for number 4, with preparation in our step into spring, what could you automate or do on a regular basis, or get other people to help you with preparation? Getting the kids into a routine to get ready for school on a Monday. Getting your loved one in a routine of making sure the kitchen is clean before you switch off the light and go to bed. Get into a routine that you have an hourly house tidy, desktop tidy, brush, dust, whatever you do, hoover. So that's built in, and everybody gets involved. So what preparation could you do? What's something as part of this step into spring that you could get ready and really embed as a habit? And the last thing I want to talk about, number 5, is step ! So what could you do this spring that is totally unexpected? Exclamation mark is all about giving emphasis to something or making something new and stand out. What could you do, something that you hadn't even planned and thought about, that would bring you joy and that would bring joy to others and would bring all that amazing feelings of what spring brings to us all? What could you do? You know, it could be a family trip out. It could be surprising the children with a tent in the house. It could be making a cake that you've never made before, or try and make a new cuisine. What's something in spring could you really step into and, you know, make people's heads turn, make them go, wow, or make yourself go, wow, and make yourself feel good? And that whole exclamation mark, you know, putting a mark in and making people notice.